Okay, the first thing I want to let you know is that pre-writing for your first essay, the narrative essay, should be done in sessions, we'll call them. You don't just pre-write for a paper all at once. The first thing you want to do is you want to pre-write for the thesis statement. Just for the thesis statement. You can choose how you'd like to pre-write. I put lessons on our writing class page that deals specifically with pre-writing. If you choose to free write, for example, you need to free write for a really good, strong thesis for a narrative essay. So as you're free writing, keep in mind what you're trying to do in a narrative essay is tell a story. However, it's not just a story, it's a story that has a point. That point is the thesis, and that story serves to support your thesis. Keeping your focus on your purpose of the essay will really help guide your pre-writing. Okay, so that's my first tip. Second of all, I put a lot of instructions on how you could pre-write on writing class. But you should also know, and I put instructions on free writing, clustering, listing. There are all kinds of things. I think 4 different assignments on free writing. However, I wanted to give you a tip if you choose to free write. If you choose to free write, you really should kind of put some pressure on yourself to write as much as possible, as quickly as possible. Free writing, you see, is actually not writing. It's brainstorming. So who cares if you make mistakes? No one's going to see it but you. The important thing is that you get your wonderful ideas down on paper. So try to push yourself to write as much as possible. If you don't know what to write, don't stop writing. Write something, right? I don't know what to write. But by keeping the pen moving, you're ensuring that you really are putting your thoughts on the paper. You're not censoring yourself or impeding yourself in any way. After all, you're not writing, you're brainstorming for great ideas for the main point of your whole essay. Another thing to keep in mind when you're free writing is that you might want to focus it. You could free write for 3 minutes without stopping and then read what you've written. If you find a sentence that jumps out at you for some reason, pull that sentence out and put that sentence somehow, or just pull that sentence out and use it as a prompt to do another 3-minute write. And then write without stopping, time yourself, write as quickly as possible, and then read it. And if there's another sentence, pull that out. That'll help you focus your thoughts. And it really could help so that you're not doing just a writing activity that's too broad. I've used it in the past. It worked for me. All right, so that's what I wanted to say about pre-writing. Just pre-write for the thesis first. Do a cluster, free write, use a variety of methods together. There is no one way to come up with a great thesis statement. The last tip I have is to ensure that you come up with look back to the essays you've read so far this semester and consider, what was their thesis? Was the thesis of My Name by Sandra Cisneros that she wasn't defined by a name, that name wasn't a sufficient definition of her? Was the thesis of David Sedaris's essay that the learning was more important than anything else, despite the bad treatment that he received from his teacher? What is the thesis or the point of each of the essays that you read? Let me tell you what a thesis should do. A thesis should make a point. A persuasive point, that's fine. An insightful point into a complicated topic, also great. A theory, a theoretical point that you wish to explore in the essay, also fine. What a thesis should not do, the thesis should not state the obvious. It should not state a fact. It should not be surface level. The thesis shouldn't make someone want to say, so what? And the thesis also should not be a question. Some of your authors imply their theses, but that is not appropriate for us yet. This is a beginning writer's class. Toward the end of the semester, I'll let you imply your thesis statement, and that's fine, but not yet. We need to practice writing good, strong thesis statements. So you do need to include a clearly written thesis statement at the end of the introduction of your paper. And that's why I suggest it drives your whole essay. It drives the whole essay. If you don't have a thesis, you don't have an essay. And for that reason, it's very important that you spend time pre-writing just for the thesis. So I hope that helps a little bit, and stay tuned for the next clip, which deals with the next step, drafting.